Hello, everybody. Welcome to this evening's gorgeous session. I mean, I feel like we're in depths of winter because the room's very dark. Because if I put the big light on, it actually looks like I've come down from heaven for you all, which obviously I have. But tonight is not about me. Tonight is about Lila. Yes, got the name right. Yes, brilliant. Okay, so. I am going to shut up and I'm going to hand over to our marvelous, amazing guest expert. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, you wonderful human. The floor is yours.
Lovely to be with you all. It's a lovely, small, intimate group, and I know that there's more women that are going to be joining us. So, hi everyone. I am Lila, and I am a transformational coach, and I specialize in embodiment and in energetics as well. So, I'm working with female leaders and founders who are really looking to and seeking that sense of presence and calm and stability so that they can create lives that really feel aligned and like the life that they really truly want to be living here. And I will dive in a moment, but first of all, I would love to just check in and see how are we doing. If you can pop two words in the chat, just so that I can see what you're feeling, what's alive, just to get a read for the room and all you lovely ladies. Tip top. I love this. And it doesn't have to be anything perfect or shiny. It can be, I'm feeling really crunchy today. I'm just feeling flat, wherever you are, not bad, emotionally bruised. Okay, so some tenderness. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. And how a bit manic. Okay, great. Yeah. And there's been, yeah, cold, cold, cozy weather happening as well. So there's a shift that our bodies are going through. And my intention is today that whether you are joining live or whether you are joining from the recording, that you receive this session as like a nourishing balm for your nervous system right now. And yeah, also that there are maybe some practical tools that you can take away to support you in your life outside of this session too. So yeah, we're going to be talking and diving into this beautiful theme this month of presence and what that looks like from the perspective of the body, from the perspective of the felt sense of here and now. It's such an amazing tool for kind of getting us out of our minds and into that really, really present feeling of like what it actually feels like to be here and now. And as ever the way with the present moment, it's constantly changing. And so living from the body in this way not only helps us to anchor and ground, but it helps us to develop our relationship with change and with ourselves and what it means to live moment to moment in a way that feels really aligned and meets us in whatever needs we're really looking to receive. Yeah, and so that unfolding nature and that changing nature means that it's never complete. Our practice is never complete. So wherever you are with the idea of presence or the idea of being with your body, it's perfect as it is. You might have done a lot of these practices and you're like, yeah, I've got like my own kind of routine around it, or you've never come across this before. And so what's really beautiful about this work is that it really meets you exactly where you are. No matter what level you are, you can always go deeper with it. So it's such my pleasure to be with you all. Um, yeah, and just to touch as well, we'll dive into a little bit of the nervous system, but I want to actually drop in for a moment and take us just through a really quick grounding exercise just to begin so that we can start to feel some of the stuff and then I can move into some of the teaching. So if you will, just make yourself really comfortable wherever you are. If you're driving a vehicle, I recommend maybe not doing this practice. So yeah, if you're driving any vehicles or doing anything where you need to be present to your surroundings, then and active, then please don't do this. Come back to the recording later. But if you are able to, and you're sat in a lovely, comfy chair. Just let yourself lean back into the seat. And if you feel good to close your eyes or lower your gaze or make your eyes blurry, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So just letting that chair really hold you, feeling the weight of your body through your bones, through your sit bones. Noticing any tension in your body. And bringing your awareness as well to your breath. No need to change it at this point, just recognizing where you feel that breath. Is it short? Is it long? Shallow or deep? Just tuning in to where you're at right now, letting all the dust settle as we arrive. And I'll ask you to just deepen your inhale through down to the belly. So deep into the belly, inhaling. And on your exhale, let something go. Let some of your weight go, something, some kind of tension. And keep following your breath cycle, but deepening into the belly on the inhale and letting it go on the exhale. Every inhale, bringing your attention into how you're expanding and filling up and receiving energy. And every exhale, loosening the jaw. Maybe letting yourself sigh. You're all on mute, so you can make as much noise as you want. Maybe sometimes an R on your exhale. You might want some movement. You might want stillness. Letting yourself land. Hmm. And when you're ready, just noticing the temperature of the air in the room before you open your eyes, the feel of your hair on your skin, the feel of your clothes on your skin, and just gently, gently blinking the eyes back open, back into the room. Beautiful. I'd love to check in again. How are we feeling? What's alive? Again, just drop some words in the chat. That would be lovely. Calmer. Beautiful. And you don't have to be calmer, although that's really beautiful, Claire. I love that. Is that mummy? Are you awake? That's great. Beautiful. In the room. Yeah, yeah. Calm. I love this. Yeah. So just noticing how in a very short period of time, yeah, the last entry was 10 minutes. 1 minute, 1 minute, we've already started to like enter to the room. We're here, we're present, we're calmer, we're more open. Um, yeah, I love this. Okay. Just noticing your breath as I'm talking. It won't be long, just 5 minutes or so. I just want to give a bit of grounding and context to the field of work, somatics, and the body, and then we'll go into some more practices and some journal prompts that will be really nourishing for you. So yeah, just as I'm talking, noticing your sit bones touching the seat, noticing your breath, and staying with that calmness. in your bodies that you've achieved. And so what we used there was a little bit of awareness, breath, some sound, maybe if that came through. Maybe there was a few micro movements that were happening. And so these are some of the key tools that we use to connect with the body. So somatics being the field of soma, which means the body, and the felt sense of being in the body. So the two key skills when we're looking at presence really that we can focus on is our attention and our sensitivity when it comes to somatics, and specifically putting our attention onto our sensitivity. And I'm not sure if some of you will be familiar with masculine, feminine dynamics, but it's these two different qualities within us. The masculine energies, we have all have masculine and feminine energies, and the masculine being this directive, this focus, this more kind of presence-like quality that is our attention, as opposed to the feminine, which is this receptivity, this wisdom, and this felt sense, this sensitivity piece. And so when we work with these two parts of ourselves, we're integrating, we're balancing the different parts of us in a way that can feel really good. And if you have too much of one or the other, we start to feel out of balance. So if you have too much focus, it's very narrow and constricted. But if you have too much sensitivity, then there's no containment, and there's just a sea of all of the feelings and all of the experiences. So we're really marrying these two together, and that's what we'll focus on in these practices as well. And before I go there, I just want to ground this a little bit in some nervous system awareness. So some of you, I know that you might be doing some trainings right now, which is really beautiful in somatics, and other people, this is brand new to you. So I just want to make sure we all have a similar amount of information. So I'll just spend a few minutes here just explaining the nature of our nervous system and how powerful that awareness can be in helping us to navigate our lives. We can really think of the nervous system as like the central command center for the whole of our functioning of our body. It regulates our breath, our heart rate, our distribution of nutrients to cells and organisms. And it is consists of the brain, the spinal cord, and then the nerves that extend to connect the whole of our body together. So when we're working with these practices and we're using these practices to access and to soothe, kind of hold our nervous system that maybe gets a bit frazzled and static sometimes. And we have two different states or two different operating systems that our nervous system has. You may have heard of these as the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. And so both are really healthy. When our nervous system is operating well, we can move between the two in a really fluid state. Sometimes we need to be more active, sometimes we need to be more restful. But what can happen sometimes is when we have so much stress or trauma stuck in the system, we can have our window of tolerance essentially narrowed, and we can get stuck in a state of fight, flight, freeze, and appease, or fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Some of you may have come across. So what we're doing with these practices in a nutshell is working to expand our window of tolerance so that we're in these states where we rest, digest, stay, and we play, or where we're kind of relaxed and calm and we're connected and we can create in whatever way and actually function at our highest potential. Yeah, any questions there? I know I just like dumped a whole load of information, but I wanted to make sure that we're all, yeah, humming from the same hymn sheet. very rarely in our lives do we need to fight or flight because we're not in the jungle anymore being chased by cats and, dangerous beings and creatures. But that was an intelligence that was needed at a time. So it's always working properly. It's just whether it's appropriate for the moment. Um, and then, as for noticing when for ourselves we might be stuck in a state that's not the most appropriate, um, there's so many different ways of telling. And maybe I can provide like a cheat sheet after. But an example might be that you're more irritable. You're more frustrated and you're struggling to cope with a situation in a way that maybe you would before. Or maybe you're feeling anxious and maybe you're ruminating and kind of getting stuck in a cycle of overthinking about something. Another example could be that you are feeling a bit depressed and lethargic and you just don't want to get up and get out. That you're finding it really hard to move through the day. And then there's also an adaptive of that, which might look like people pleasing or overgiving, that's more of a social adaptive strategy that's developed over time, that wasn't when we were necessarily in the jungles or like in tribes fighting for our lives, but it actually happened through social situations where we've needed to keep ourselves safe by appeasing the situation and making sure that someone who might be dangerous is kept in a more, yeah, a slightly more pleasing way of relating to them. Um, so I will move on, and if there are any other questions, you can send them through to Sarah after. I'm more than happy to answer more on that. It's so helpful for giving us just that lens into noticing when maybe we need to just support ourselves more and we're actually needing to pour back into ourselves. And as women, that's something that we are not so practiced in. And it's something that we get to be so much better at because when our cup is full, then it becomes effortless to do all the things in our life that we're wanting to do, whether look after our families, create our businesses, support communities. So yeah, beautiful. So we're going to go into our second practice, really. And this is to practice those skills of attention and sensitivity that I was talking about. So bringing our focus and our sensitivity into the mix. This is to help you just become even more present. We spent 1 minute before doing those breaths, and we're going to go a little bit deeper with that now. So begin again by just getting yourself in a really comfy seat, taking some breaths, getting nice and settled. And if you need any stretches, let them through. And we're going to begin to orient ourselves through the senses. And we'll start externally and then we'll move slowly more closer into our internal perception. So first of all, we're going to work with the sense of sight. So just noticing your breath, noticing your sit bones touching the seat, and just take your eyes on the little wonder in the room. There's no agenda as you look around. Just noticing the shapes in the room, any colors, the textures, and just with a soft gaze, just taking in your environment. Really noticing where you are right now. And we'll move now to the sense of our hearing. So noticing, what can you hear around you? How many noises can you identify? Especially if it's a quiet room. It's really interesting to tune to sounds that maybe are close to you or sounds really, really far away. And now just bring your attention to the sense of touch. So you can even take your hands and feel some of the surfaces around you, the textures around you. You might feel the texture of the clothes on your skin. Temperature of the air in the room. Beautiful. And let's move to the sense of taste. So maybe you've had some food and there's something left over there. Maybe there's different textures in your mouth. Is there a sweetness there or a bitterness there? Hmm. And then moving to our scent. This is the most subtle of those senses. So retuning to what can you smell on the air? Just taking in the subtlety, or maybe there's an intensity as well. Beautiful. And so just continue to follow the breath in through the nostrils, noticing the temperature as you inhale and the temperature as you exhale. It may feel kind of cool on the inhale and maybe warm on the exhale. Beautiful intelligence of the body that's warming our air for us. And we're gonna travel a little bit further in now and take note of our internal world through our internal sense of perception. So again, you may want to close your eyes. If you feel comfortable, you can also leave your eyes open and blurred. And following the breath now in through the nose and deep into the belly. And exhaling, noticing the belly fall and the warm hell air exit on your exhale. Let every inhale dive you deeper inside into your lungs, into your belly. Noticing the gushing and the wave that your body makes as you breathe. And just slowly, slowly following the breath. Nice long exhales. Letting your attention wander and drift into the mid part of your body. Now, get really curious about this inner perception. What can you feel here? Maybe you feel a warmth or a tingling, or a coolness. Or maybe there's something that's moving. And what's the quality? Where in your body can you feel that? Is there a sharpness or a heaviness there? Maybe some kind of pressure. Just noticing and not changing anything. Hmm. Beautiful. So I'll slowly start to bring you out of this experience. Mm. Feeling the sit bones in the chair. Noticing where your breath is in your body. Noticing any noises in the room. The temperature in the room. And I invite you, just so that it's not a shock for the eyes, just to place your palms over your eyes. And you can open your eyes into your palms of your hands. So it's nice and dark. And then gently separating your fingers and pulling your hands away from your face to enter back into the room. Beautiful. I'm going to let you stay with this experience, and I'm just going to pop some journal prompts so that you can kind of extract a little bit more um, what your experience of that was. And we'll do some sharing at the very end. And you can also, you don't have to answer all these questions. And if you don't have a book on you, there's no problem. You can just sit and contemplate this. So I'll just leave you for a couple minutes. I see my screen switching. Leave you for a few minutes now. Just sit with that experience. Beautiful. Mm. Okay, so we're going to do one more practice, and in fact, it segues exactly off of that point where sometimes regulating ourselves isn't enough. Sometimes there is something that is pretty sticky, and it doesn't matter how much we try to breathe deep and how we try to move into those tools that, yeah, it's just not shifting or moving. So I wanted to really offer this beautiful gateway that the body or that somatics offers, is that we can start to move into actually deeper into our internal state. We start to deal with more of the energetics of what's actually underneath the hood, you know? And often what can happen is that our bodies are maybe stuck in that fight, flight, freeze, appease state. And there's some kind of memory from the past, or there's some kind of experience that the system is saying, no, this is really dangerous. Like, you got to listen to me. And 9 times out of 10, that danger doesn't actually exist. So it's really obviously up to our discretion as to when we decide that this is the right time to use it. But a lot of the time, it's really beautiful to use this practice that I'm going to share with you and guide you through to clear out some of the stuff that may be something that's blocking us. and we can experience more sustainable results as well. So I'll be guiding us back in again. Again, make yourself nice and comfy. For this one, yeah, you really want to be leaning into something that just makes you feel really held. So if you're not in that position, then just really get yourself set up in that way. Um, Again, closing your eyes down, bringing yourself back to your breath. Noticing where you feel your breath. Feeling your sit bones underneath you, feeling the weight of your body and gravity holding your bones. And before we dive in, we will just anchor a feeling in the body of joy, of calm, of peace. So I just want you to bring in for a moment a memory that just fills you with love or joy or gratitude or something that just feels so heartwarming. And when you have that memory, if it's a visual, then let yourself come into the felt sense of that. Where do you feel that in your body? What's the texture? What's the temperature? And just ground this in as a place in your body that you can call home. And breathe lovely, deep inhales and releasing exhales. And we're going to shift our attention to something in your life right now that's maybe a bit challenging, maybe a bit sticky. Could be a project, it could be a person, it could be a conversation that you've had. Whatever it is, let yourself bring that in to this safe space. And notice again how you start to feel as you bring this experience in. Now, if you can, drop the story, drop the image, drop the person, and again, let's come into the body. Where do you feel that? Noticing your breath, breathing deeply as you invite this perhaps uncomfortable experience in. Knowing that it's safe to feel this. It might not feel safe, but it is safe to feel it. And so noticing the texture, noticing if there's any temperature. If there's yawns coming through, that's beautiful. That's energy moving. following your breath and letting your attention settle on this. And maybe there's an image that's coming up for you in this sensational experience. Or maybe it is really just these textures, temperature, and maybe some movement. You're taking a deep breath into wherever you feel that in your body, inhaling really deep and exhaling, letting some tension go. And again, bringing your attention there and getting curious. Does this part of you, this energy in you, does it have anything that it would say if it could say something? And maybe no words come to you. Maybe some immediate words jumped out at you. If there is silence, then maybe that's all it has to say. It doesn't need to be anything. It's perfect as it is. Just being with that, letting our attention soften. And is there something that you can give to this part of you? What does it need? And it may, again, speak to you in words. It could just be a sensation and a sense of something. And if it helps to put a hand over that area, you're welcome to give yourself some loving touch. Maybe breathing deeper feels good. Maybe offering some loving words, knowing that everything is going to be okay, that you're okay, and that you're in this beautiful work of meeting yourself wherever you're at. Maybe it feels good to hug yourself, maybe squeeze your arms. It could sway. Just tuning in. What does this part of you need? How can you nourish this part of you? Mm. And together we can start to breathe deeper together with this part. And remembering this anchor that we had in the beginning, this sense of home, this sense of joy and maybe warmth or comfort. Let's see if we can bring that in to meet this part. To offer some of that comfort. And I invite you, if it feels good, to put a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly. just acknowledge yourself. To give deep thanks to yourself for trusting, for showing up for yourself. For following those deeper calls and whispers inside of yourself to go on this journey to love yourself even deeper. And just take some deep inhales into your hands, into your belly and your chest. And on your exhale, letting it go, releasing your jaw. Deep inhale and exhale, letting the tension go. And on your next inhale, just to seal ourselves up here, going to take our hands and just wipe them down your arms. So down your arms, like a rub. And just imagine as you wipe your hands down your arms, just melting away any tension. You can rub across your chest with your hand. You can squeeze your arms down your forearms. Squeeze your hands, coming back to your body. Feeling your sit bones again in your chair. Noticing your breath. Letting any stretches through if that feels good for you. And again, bring your hands together and we're going to rub them together just to create some heat, hard and fast. And when your hands feel nice and warm, put those hands over your eyes now. Nice and nourishing. Receive that warmth. And open your eyes into your hands again. And then slowly bringing your hands away from your face. Maybe you want some face massage whilst you're there. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, staying in your internal space where you are. I'm going to share some prompts again, slightly different. And let me just bring those up. We'll have 2 minutes again. And I'll keep us timed. back. Definitely encourage us to continue journaling after this. There's more to that. I would love to, yeah, just open up to the room a little bit. I'd love to hear some of your experiences and what's alive for you, what's arisen for you. Thank you so, so much. Been such a pleasure.